From the ashes of a life's lows to the beautiful, strong and bold woman with declarations of continuous elevation. We are women who rise, women who rise. With God we succeed in spite of all challenges. Women who rise, women who rise. With our scars and all, we stand bold and tall, fearfully and wonderfully made. We've learned to walk by faith, leaning and depending on Christ. He will always make a way. We are women who rise, women who rise. With God we succeed in spite of all challenges. Women who rise, we are women who rise. With our scars and all, we stand bold and tall. We continue to rise. Oh yes, we do. We are women who rise. Women who rise. We rise.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm excited to be back here another Thursday. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'm rejoicing and I'm happy and I'm glad in it. Again, happy Thursday. I hope everyone has had a victorious week, a phenomenal, great, wonderful week. My week has been blessed. I cannot complain. Like I said, I'm excited to be back here again. Another phenomenal testimony that we have lined up for you all. As you all know, our lovely and our beautiful guest for tonight is the powerful, the sweet, I love her dearly, Jennifer Cannon. A lot of you know I've had her on before. She was actually the third guest back in 2022 when I first launched the program. Gave a very, very powerful, blessed, encouraging testimony back then. And I know tonight is going to be no exception. So if you don't remember me having her on, if you don't remember her testimony from 2022, when we're done here tonight, y'all, go back, rewind all the way back to 2022. Her testimony is still on our Facebook page. Her testimony is on our YouTube page as well. Let it bless you all over again. For those of you who didn't see it, let it bless you for the first time after you watch her testimony tonight. So I'm excited tonight. Thank you to everyone who are joining. Whether you are joining us tonight by way of Facebook, whether you are choosing to join by way of YouTube, however you join, whether you come back and watch the replay at a later time when you have time, thank you all so much. Before I bring Jennifer Cannon on screen with us tonight, y'all already know, get somebody on your mind, male, female, young person, or older person, a family member, a friend, a foe. Get somebody on your mind. Put their name in the comment section, tag them. Let them know Women Who Rise. We are on tonight. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Let them know, hey, you can hop on. You can take part in this victorious testimony that our ears are about to hear. Not only that, y'all, go ahead and hit the share button tonight. Y'all know I love for as many people as possible to share in these victorious testimonies. You know, we all could use just a little bit more encouragement. I'll never get to the place where I feel like I got all the encouragement I'll ever need. So, y'all, hit the share button so some more people can hop on and share in these victorious testimonies that we are about to receive tonight. With that being said, I am going to go ahead and bring our lovely guest on screen with us tonight, Miss Jennifer Cannon, so we can go ahead and get her testimony. There is our lovely guest for tonight, Miss Jennifer Cannon. Y'all go ahead and put your hands together. I mean, real good. If you ain't never clapped before, put them together real good in the comment section for Miss. She's an evangelist, Jennifer Cannon. Like I said, to know her is to love her. So y'all give her a great big hand clap. Let's give her a re-welcome to the Women Who Rise platform tonight. Let me ask you this, Jennifer. How are you doing on this Thursday evening?
I am doing great. I feel good. I am good. I had a great day. So I'm doing very well today. How are you, T?
Listen, I'm trying to stay calm. I'm excited every week. Those of you who are familiar with the podcast, I absolutely love what I do. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I love hearing the testimonies. I mean, I love, in the comment section reading, people that these testimonies, they register, if you're doing something, it ought to be impactful. You ought to be touching somebody. So that part alone, I'm excited every week to hear, what testimony is going to come forward. I'm waiting in sweet anticipation, just like all of the viewers, because I don't know either what, the testimony that's going to come forth. So I'm excited tonight. I'm happy to be back here, but let me calm down and ask you, Jennifer, is there anything that you would like to say to greet the viewers before we get your testimony?
Well, I'm so glad to be here on tonight again with my sister. I consider Tiara my little sister, and I love her so much. And I'm so proud of what she's done with the Women Who Rise platform. I mean, how God has really blessed it. And so I'm excited to be here on tonight. And I hope I can say something that could just be an help and an encouragement. And I did want to say to Tiara, we had a young lady, and she may be on tonight, who came and visited our church like a couple weeks ago. And she found she really enjoyed Mom when you had her with Evangelist Jeanette. And so that's how she kind of got familiarized with my mother. And so she came and she visited the church. I think she's from North Carolina somewhere. So it's somewhere out of state where she's from. And so she was in the state. And so she showed up that night to church and said that's how she where it was introduced to Pastor Cannon. It was through the Women Who Rise platform. So,
wow. Well,
yes,
God be the glory. See, when I hear things like that, it encourages me to keep going.
Yes.
Like I said, if you're not making an impact, then why are you doing it?
Yes.
If you're not helping somebody else, if you're not reaching somebody else, then what's your purpose?
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that with me. Like I said, to God be the glory. To God be the glory. That encourages me even more to keep giving these testimonies, to keep, like I say, shining a light. I say it every week. Our purpose is to shine a light on what God we serve is able to do. So I thank God for it. Whoever that young lady is, I pray God, would grant her heart's desire and encourage her to keep going after Him. The way you find out about who God is, whether it's through the Women Who Rise platform, whether it's through a one-on-one witness, whether somebody invites you to the church, as long as you hear about Jesus, you get that connection with God that you need. That's all that matters. So I thank God for it tonight. Again, thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that with little old me.
You're welcome.
God is good. Like I said, I thank God for it. He's an awesome God. I love what God is doing, So I'm happy tonight. I want to say to all of the viewers who are joining us by way of Facebook and YouTube, thank you all for joining. Every week I thank God for all of the viewers. Some of you tune in faithfully without fail. And I thank God for it, because I always say nobody is obligated to stop what you were doing and sit and watch Women Who Rise. You're not obligated to even listen to it while you're multitasking, doing something else, But for all of you that do, for all of you that come back and watch the replay at a later time, thank you all so very much. And with that being said, if you are new to this channel tonight, we are Women Who Rise. I am your host, Tiara Randall. We are here Thursdays, 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do have a different woman of God, beautiful women of God weekly, sharing their testimony of how God has blessed them to rise. And like I said earlier, our sole purpose is to shine a light on what our God has done for us. I say every week that one of my favorite scriptures simply says, God is no respecter of persons, which simply means what He has done for me, what He's done for Jennifer, the same God that came through for us, the same God that is keeping us, the same God that blesses us, the same God that loves us. He can do it for you. He is the same God. The Bible declares Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. But let me calm down, because I'm a little too excited tonight. And as I first stated, our beautiful guest is my dear sister, my friend, Jennifer Cannon, and she's going to share with us her testimony of how God has blessed her to rise. So Jennifer, as you know, I always start out to all of my guests with the first question of, when you first hear those three words, Women Who Rise, what are the first thoughts that come to your head when you hear those three words?
When I think of Women Who Rise, I think of a woman of God who purposely get close to God.
Mm.
And it brought me, it put to the scripture came to mind for me was James 4:10, how it says, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. I cannot rise without God. So the closer I get to him, the more I am rising, you
Mm.
know. And so that has been my heart's plea, you know, really since last year, but really strategically this year, is to get close to God. Because if I get close to God, I won't stay down. I won't stay in a situation. God will always lift me up. I cannot rise without him. You know, we can say a woman who rises is one that just gets up again. Yeah, that's true. But who is it that's getting you up?
Mm.
It's God. And I know if I stay close to him, I know if I stay in his perfect will and seek his righteousness and seek the kingdom and do his will for my life, that I will always stay on top. And not meaning above anybody, but just in him. I'll be in a lifted state when I stay close to God. And when I think of humbleness, I think of, it says a lower state of one's own importance, which means it's
Mm.
not about me anymore. It's all about God at this point. It's all about what he wants for me to do. It's all about what he wants for my life. And if I humble myself to him, the Bible says he will lift me up. If I give my will over to the Lord, he will lift me up. He will exalt me, if the Bible said, in due time in
Mm.
First Peter. And exalt just means the raising up of someone from to a higher status. So when I humble myself to God, when I get close to God, I see a woman rising as she loves on God and gets to know God the more.
I love it. I love how you first started that answer out by saying purposely get close to God. Make it your purpose. You have to do it on purpose. And I
Mhm.
thought that was very important to point out because you have to put forth the effort to get close to God. Yeah, we know
Right,
he's there, he's near, he's always near. He's
right.
always close. He said he would never leave us nor forsake us. But if you
Mhm,
want that close walk with him,
mhm.
know, where you can
Yes,
hear his voice so clearly, you can know the voice of God, he
yes,
can lead you and guide you. You're gonna have to do that on purpose.
yes,
You have to make it your sole purpose to seek his face.
yes,
Like you said,
yes.
you were quoting Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first
Mhm,
the kingdom of God. There's something that
mhm.
we don't have to do if we want that close, like people in the Bible days had that close walk with God.
Yes.
Point, one person was translated. He didn't even see that. That's how close he walked with God. If we want that
Mhm,
closeness with him,
mhm.
I'll take it a
Yes,
step further. If we want to be anointed, if we want to be
yes,
impactful in a way that pleases the kingdom, you're gonna have to on
yes,
purpose seek to get close to him. So
yes.
that part of your answer really just stood out to me.
Mhm,
Is it your
mhm,
heart's desire to really be close to God? So I
mhm.
thank God. Go
And
ahead.
it's a humbleness of yourself. It's a putting you on the back burner.
That's it.
Your will, your mindset, how you think things should go, when you think they should go this way, that way. You have totally submitted and surrendered and humbled yourself before the Lord. He
Mm,
said, when you do that, that's when I shall lift you up. Not when I'm in the way, not when I'm trying to do my own thing. I can't be in a lifted up state if I'm trying to do my own thing. It's when I totally let go and say, you know what, God, it's all on you. You just tell me to go left, go right, go up, go down. It doesn't matter. Just let me know what I need to do. It's a humbling way, you
mm,
know. This means the importance is now not on me, but it's on God, which it should be all the time.
right.
It never should be about us. It should always be about God and his business. And so that's what I feel like we have to do in order to stay in a posture, of positivity, in a way to where God can really use us to help somebody else is if we humble ourselves
Mm.
to the Lord.
That's it. That's it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I mean, and when humbling yourself, you just can't go wrong. You can't.
Mm-mm.
When you choose to humble yourself before the sight of God, you cannot go wrong. There will be a lifting that will take place.
There will be a lifting.
There will be a lifting when you humble yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a saying that says when you kneel before God, you can stand before anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you
it.
you just can't go wrong.
That's
You can't
right.
go wrong. So I love it. I want to ask you this next question, Jennifer, and
Okay.
everybody knows this. This is my favorite question because this is where we get to hear you testify. This is
Okay.
where we get to hear, what has God done in Jennifer's life. And as I first stated, to those of you who are just joining us tonight, this is Jennifer's third time gracing the platform. As you all know, I love my sister. Jennifer is a sister. She is a dear friend to me, and she has been for a long time. So anytime Jennifer Cannon opens up her mouth, wisdom is going to come out. Encouragement is going to come out. I like them kind of people. So I thank God for her tonight. As I first stated, she was our third guest when the podcast first started back in 2022. She gave a phenomenal testimony then. We had her again. I had a panel of women on, and she was one of the panelists of women, gave great advice in that panel as well. If you missed that, it's still on YouTube, it's still on Facebook. Go back and watch her personal testimony and the panel discussion that she was a part of. We have another panel discussion coming up real soon, just to put that out there. But go back and watch it. And I'm excited to have her on again tonight for whatever other testimony that God has placed in her spirit to share with us tonight. So Jennifer, again, this is my favorite question because this is where we get to hear your testimony. But can you share with us a time in your life where you came to your defining moment? And I say so often on this platform is that we have many defining moments. We have many testimonies that we could pull, to share what God has done. But if you could share with us, the one that God has laid, on your heart to share with us tonight, a time where you came to your defining moment. You came to that pivotal time, that fork in the road, when you were faced with that big question mark in the sky. Am I going to go left? Am I going to go right? Am I going to succumb to the pressure? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? We got a lot of questions in our head, but how did you choose to rise through that defining moment?
Well, as I thought about the question, and it, God laid this on my heart to share. And Tiara, I can say that right now I'm in a defining moment. I'm being admonished, encouraged by the Lord to rise right now. And what I mean by that is sometimes, when you're looking at social media or you're looking at different things, maybe people post or anything like that, you see the victory, but you don't see all the process of what a person had to go through to get to that victory. Well, tonight I am inviting people into my process. I'm inviting our listeners into my process because it's not easy. It's not easy. I've been believing God for something, and I've been, kind of battling in my faith with that, because when you're waiting on God and when your circumstances around you don't seem like what God has promised, sometimes your faith is being tested heavily. I don't care how long you've been saved. You go through those moments where I know for a fact that right now that something good is about to happen to me. I don't take it as we're all in warfare because we're fighting against the devil. We're all in warfare, but I don't take it as warfare. I take it as growing pains. Something is getting ready to happen for me, and I feel it. So therefore, in my seeking the Lord and in my fasting and in my praying to the Lord spoke to me and he said, wait on me. And he began to tell me the posture that I was in my waiting wasn't the correct posture. He was saying, you're worrying. You're not, what are you going to believe? What are you believing in this moment? Are you waiting on me? Or when you're waiting on God, you are saying, God, I know you're getting ready to come through for me. And we have to do that successfully. And so that's where I am right now. And so last year is kind of when things have kind of started. And so it's like I went into like an emotional state. It's like I just felt as if this thing is not going to happen for me, or this thing is not going to happen. The enemy tell you all kind of things when you look around and nothing looks like victory. But God is telling me in this state, and I know God is getting ready to bring me. I know God is getting ready to do something great. You know, it's going to happen in His timing. But in the wait, in the process, can we wait on God the way He wants us to wait on Him?
Mm-hmm.
And I can say that in this process, I've had moments where I wasn't strong. Like I just wasn't handling it like I needed to handle it. But I feel like I'm kind of on the other side of that thing because I understand now what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of it, God is drawing me, as we were talking about earlier, close to Him. He's showing me more about Him. He's putting me in a state of humbling myself before Him and to work on some things that maybe I need to work on about Jennifer. It's all happening within the process. And so it doesn't feel good when you can't see anything.
Mm.
But that's not faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Nothing around me may look like it's happening. Nothing around me may look like anything is going on. But if God made me a promise, that's all I have to do is stand on the promise of God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so it's not easy. What I'm dealing with is not easy, but and it's heart-wrenching and it's to the point where it kind of messes with who you are as a person because you're trying to figure out why. Sometimes you go, why me? And why am I having to go through this? And I want you to think about anything that you're going through right now in your spiritual walk where it seems like there's not an end to this thing. But there is an end to this thing. And God is He's just taking you through the process. And so you have to wait on God and it's defining you, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
When I come out of this, the souls that's going to be touched when I come out of this, and the testimony that's going to come when I come out of this, it's a testimony to be kept by God.
Mm-hmm.
And so with what I'm dealing with and the confusion, God is not the author of confusion, but sometimes the enemy will try to bring confusing things to you and to be kept by God and to still say, for God I live and for God I die. And to still say He's better than anything I could ever feel. God. Nothing compares to God. If He don't deliver me, I'm not bowing.
Come on.
So I'm just at that point now to where it's God and that's it. Whether He bring me out, if He don't bring me out, I know He is. But I'm like the Hebrew boys. But if He decide not to, I'm not going to bow to the enemy stuff and his ideas and all of that. And so it's something to go through your trials, right? It means something to hang on in there. And the Lord is telling me, Jennifer, I need you to hang on in there. I need you to just give it some more time, as my mother would say. Just give it time and just let God work you through this process. Sometimes I want to jump out of it. Just being honest. I'm done. I want to be done with it. But God said, no, I want you to stay there until I get through doing in you what I want to do in you. And when I come out, it's going to be better for me spiritually, better for me naturally, and all this. So the attacks, are coming from different angles, but the posture that I'm in this year, it started last year, but the posture I'm in this year, I know my mindset is right now because I know God is getting ready to bring me out. My father used to say, and my mother said as well, whenever breakthrough is on the way, the enemy either come before your breakthrough or he come after your breakthrough. He gonna show up no matter what. And you got to recognize that. You got to recognize what God is doing. So I feel like that I'm in a defining moment as we speak. And the next time people may hear my voice, they're going to hear that I've come out of this thing. And they're going to remember this podcast and remember what has been said, between sisters, that she hung in there. She said, and now, Tiara, in my prayers, I'm saying I'm going to make it.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm going to try to make, I'm saying I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. As he said, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. And that's how my strength is renewed, is because I'm waiting right. And so when I wait right, God always comes through and he gives me the strength that I need, amen, to go on and to be a better person, be a better woman of God, and all of this is, and we go through for others, not just for ourselves. We go through so we can help other people, so we can help other people make it through their storms. I'm encouraged. Probably, I know it's others that I went through what I'm going through, but I'm encouraged by them, so I'm able to make it. So it's like a domino effect for all of us to help each other, And so I'm in a defining moment as we speak. I'm in a process as we speak. I don't know how God gonna do it. I know He gonna do it.
Yes.
But I'm having to be encouraged, and I'm having to say, even if He don't, going back ain't an option. Turning my back on God ain't an option. Saying God don't love me and He ain't fair is not gonna happen. Because my God is good. He's a good God, and He's worthy to be praised. And if He's able to keep me, He's able to carry me through, and He's able to carry anybody through. And so this is gonna be a defining moment for sure. And so I'll be able to really share what it is. But I feel like when you see people and the victory and the glory of God is on them, and God has brought them out, and they have such a beautiful ending, a lot of times we don't get what they had to go through to get to that. And I'm sorry, if you see the glory of God on your sister, the anointing of God on your sister, it's because they went through, and they went through right, and they came out. And so that's why that's there. And I feel like a lot of times, with social media, different platforms or whatever, people sometimes feel some type of way when they see the victory on people, but they don't see all the process that those people had to go through. And so I wanted to come in the middle of mine, so you would know that when you see the other side of it, that there was a process, and God can take you through that process. You just got to hang on in there, and you just got to trust in God. And that's what I'm doing right now. That's where I am right now. In yet another Tiara defining moment. We have several, like we talked about, several testimonies.
Right.
But God, He takes us from faith to faith. And when you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to get closer to God," get ready.
Listen.
Get ready, because things start to happen, things start to transpire. But hang in there, keep going after God, and that's what I'm going to do, because I want to see God in another way. I want to get closer to God. If nothing goes wrong for me when I get closer to God. So that's my testimony on tonight. I think it's a testimony.
That is definitely a testimony. That's a testimony that we all need to hear. Because whether we're there right now, or whether we've been there, or whether you can say, "Oh, I ain't never been," you will be there one day. We all are gonna go through those seasons, those times in our life, and it's kind of like you said earlier, it's like you want to think to yourself, "Well, why me?" Or why, why did I have to, and you just don't know what to think. And you're in that season where you're waiting on God to fulfill the promise, waiting on Him to come through and deliver. He will. That's no doubt about it, because we know the God that we serve. He's gonna do it, but you're in that place that you just can't explain it. See, it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I'm waiting, but I love how you said, even in that waiting season, you got to wait right.
Wait right.
I honestly believe how we wait determines how we come out.
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer. If you waiting and you complaining,
Mm-hmm.
if you waiting and you crying all the time, if you waiting and
Mm-hmm.
you bitter, if you waiting
Mm-hmm.
and you just
Yes.
frustrated, you
Yes.
choosing to be if you waiting and you in your heart you mad at God,
Yes.
your heart you're not verbally saying it because sometimes we don't
Yes.
verbally, but we complain in our hearts.
Yes.
If we're inside
Mm-hmm.
internally, we're questioning God.
Yes.
I thought God would have did it by now. What's taking you so
Yes.
long? So we not sometimes we're not bold enough to verbalize those things.
Yes.
But God sees it in our hearts.
See the heart. Mm-hmm.
And I love how you said at the time your posture wasn't right, but now your posture is. And
Mm-hmm.
all of those things, I feel like all of those things play a part in how we come out.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
don't wait right, you're not coming
Mm-hmm.
out.
And you got to surrender whatever it is to God. You gotta give it to Him. Whatever you believe in, don't don't focus on it. You can't focus on it, overly focus on it.
That's it.
You got to surrender whatever it is to Him. If He said He gonna do it, He's gonna do it. You know He's gonna do it His way.
Mm.
You know He's gonna do it in His time. But you have to let that thing go and live. You got to let that thing go and still serve God, still give God a praise, still give God the glory. But I've now given this thing to God and I'm moving on. And whatever God decide to do with it, my answer is yes, Lord.
Mm.
And you have to get there when you're in the process, when you're in the middle of the thing. You don't understand. And sometimes you can't really explain it to people because you seem crazy.
Yeah.
They don't understand your process fully. People can encourage, you see what I'm saying? And they do the best that they can, but when they don't fully understand what's going on, sometimes the enemy will work with your mind and like you crazy, like you losing it a little bit. And so when you get to that point where it's just kind of like you got to surrender that thing to God. You say, okay, God, here it is. And I'm moving on and I'm going to keep giving you the praise. I'm going to keep serving you. I'm going to keep living holy. Ain't nothing going to change about the holiness that I live. Ain't nothing going to change about me serving you. I'm moving on and I'm holding my position until you decide to do something different with me.
Mm.
And so that's where I am. And that's where I tend to be moving forward because, we got to be a little bit more mature than we was last year.
Come on, say that again.
We got to be a little bit more mature than we were last year. Every year, see, we should grow. You see what I'm saying? We should grow and not to be seen of men, but to be noticed by God, for God to see, okay, my child is getting this. So they can he can use us as he will. You see what I'm saying? And so if I'm in the same posture I was last year, I'm not growing. So at some point I got to get the lesson.
That's it.
And you get the lesson through prayer and seeking the Lord, fasting, getting in your word, spiritual leadership. That's how you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just where I am right now. Like, this stuff is not gonna worry me. I done get, God gonna have to handle this. He can handle it better than I can anyway.
That's
He know
it.
what he's trying to do anyway. So let me move back and move out of God's way. Like they say, step back and let God take control.
Mm.
That's what we got to do. So I just wanted to come on here to encourage, to let people know everybody have a process.
That's it.
When you see the people come out in victory, when you see them on the other side of something, they had a process and they went through it successfully. And so now it's your turn. Now it's my turn, and we would never stop growing. We're going to always have situations where we're going to have to go through the process and go through it right.
Mm-hmm.
And some things are harder than others.
Yep.
Because some things you believe in God for is big. And it's going to take a God to do it. So sometimes your faith seems crazy to others, but you have to say, I'm holding on to God's unchanging hand, and that's it. But if he don't do it, I ain't bowing. I'm not going back and seeing if he don't do it because he's supreme. He's omnipotent. He knows everything. I'm the seer. He knows everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so he knows what's best for me. Okay. So I trust, and that's where the trust come in. I trust God.
Yes. I mean, Jennifer, you preaching to the choir tonight. You
Trust
that's
God.
that's a whole, and I feel like that's an on time word.
Mhm.
It's your testimony, but it's an on time word for
Mhm.
us tonight. I can take that personally for myself. I know we got people viewing and watching that can say I'm there right now too.
Yeah.
You know, and we needed that word. So I
Mhm.
thank God for it. I want to ask you this question, Jennifer.
Okay.
Um, we of course we all have to go through the process, and a lot of times in the process, whatever it is that we're believing God for, you know, the enemy will have us to be ashamed while we're in our waiting season. You know what I'm talking about, while we're
Mhm.
waiting, you know.
Mhm.
And that shame can a lot of times, you know, cause us not to, while we're in the process, get the encouragement or the
Right.
advice that we
Mhm.
need. um
Mhm.
so I guess it's this kind of a two-part question. um
Okay.
I'll actually like this. The first part of it is, who is it in your life that's helping
Mhm.
you, you know, advising you through your process? And at the same time, what would you say to the individual tonight who is kind of the enemy has them ashamed of their
Mhm.
process, of whatever it is they're waiting on? You know, a lot of times we voice, oh, God gonna do it, God gonna do it, and then he hadn't done it yet. And you know, the devil try to make
Yeah.
us, oh, you testified about, you shared this, and
Yeah.
where is it? You know,
Yeah.
it,
Correct.
it kind of makes us draw up a little bit, and now we don't want to
Mhm.
reach out to people for help or get the encouragement or even the prayer that we need. So I
Right.
guess it is a two-part question. You know, amen. That question.
Mhm. Okay, so my real good friend Rebecca is a very good encouragement. I have a friend, Taronda, I call her Shay. She's been an encouragement to me in this season. Just having good sisterhood to
Mhm.
be able not necessarily talk about what you're going through, but just to have somebody you can talk about the word with, you
Right.
know, and y'all can get encouraged through the word. You know, I have them, but also, so I appreciate God for my friends. I appreciate God for you, you know, Tiara, you know, our conversation. So um, and you know, my outstanding mother. I,
Yeah.
I, I. The older I get, the more I am appreciative of the wisdom of my mother,
Hmm.
Pastor Cannon. Um, and she, you know, I'm her twin, so
Yes.
I get her. You know, the way she explains things to me, straightforward. This is how it is. Da da da. That's what I need, and I get that. And of course, she does it in love. But she's such a wise woman of God, and I know that she prays for me. So she has been helping me a whole lot through this season with her wisdom. Just the word that's coming forth across the pulpit, you
Hmm.
know, has been an encouragement to me. And I would say to anybody that's going through, um, like Tierra was saying, no, we can't get bitter when we're going through anything or get mad or angry or upset, you know, because we kind of push that off on other people. And so we have to kind of reel that back in.
Hmm.
And because if you have that kind of wall up, no one can even come in to encourage you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you have such a wall up. But when you kind of let that wall down and allow somebody that you trust, you know, of course, a trusting person in your life that you can talk to and all of that, and the person that's not going to talk about the issue all the time. Sometimes we don't need to talk about it no more. We don't need to even discuss this no more. Let's talk about God. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about planning a girl's trip. Let's talk about doing something. You know, that's the
Hmm.
kind of people you kind of need in your life. And so I'm so appreciative of those key folks in my life. But like I say, open up yourself to encouragement.
Mm.
That's the only way that you're going to make it. You got to open up yourself to encouragement from God.
That's it.
Because sometimes God is sending the word in church, or God is sending a word through something you're watching, or somebody, and he's sending that word, but you have that wall. And so nothing is getting in. And you're not going to make it like that. You're
Hmm.
going to start getting bitter against God. You're going to think God is not wanting you to have what you're asking him for, and God is not wanting you to go have this or be over here and do all, and that's not the truth, you know. So, but fasting kind of kills that. You feel that rising up, put yourself on a fast, you know, and just kill that flesh because you're gonna need to make it, you know. So those are the people that really were have been instrumental to me. And of course my loving sister, I thank God for her. Just having people around you that encourages you and that are godly.
Come on.
It's nothing like godly friendship. They're not talking about anybody or tearing people down. They're just, we're talking about God. We're trying to understand the word. What do you think this scripture mean? And we're talking about God and we're trying to know God more. That's what you need in your process season.
I really couldn't agree more. And I just want to, and I feel like I'm saying this every week because we're hearing it so much. The importance of having, you know, the right people around you, the right, even the right family members, you know, in your ear, feeding you the right things. Because, you know, during the waiting season, you know, those seasons that we're talking about, it matters a great deal who you have in your ear.
That's right.
It matters a great deal. How you continue to wait, because people can come and they can give you their advice, but if it's not the right advice, that can affect how you wait.
That's right.
They didn't wait right. They can't tell you to wait right.
That's right. That's right.
If they waited wrong, guess what? And you got them in your ear, you gonna end up complaining, being bitter, frustrated, just like they were. Just like them children of Israel, it took them much longer than what it should have took for them to come out.
Right.
You don't. So we're hearing it so many times on this platform, and I thank God for it. I'm not tired of hearing it. I'm really not, because it makes all the difference in how you wait on God, how you come out, your deliverance, the people you have around you. Because whether we even realize it or not, it affects us. It really does.
It does.
We end up talking like other people in a negative way, or whether it's a spiritual way. You end up talking like them. You end up, you know, you pick up their waiting habits.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference. If you got nothing but carnal people in your ear, guess what? All carnality. That's all you gonna, you know.
Yeah.
But if you got somebody spiritual in your ear that's feeding you scriptures while you're going through, that's encouraging you to wait on God, encouraging you to lift up your head. You know, encouraging you not to complain. So those are the people you need around you. So I had to highlight that, Jennifer, because we've heard it so much, you know. It's a key ingredient to us rising.
And we have to pray for one another. And even if they're not in my friend group or whatever you want to say, you know, the people that I really hang out with or whatever, we can pray for one another. We need to be praying for the body of believers. Because there's people all over the world that are trying to live this life and trying to do it right and trying to do it successfully. We need, when we go in our prayers, we need to pray for people of God all over the world.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're all in we say a fight, and God is trying to lift people up, promote people, you know, for his glory and honor. Okay. Trying to take, and we have to pray for those people. Because, you know, it's going to be an attack on them.
Right.
You know? And so if we just kind of, you know, just put everybody in our prayers, a lot of things will be better off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love it. I thank God for it. Also, I want to mention your powerful mother that you already mentioned. When I say I thank God for Pastor Jacqueline Cannon, I thank God for Pastor Jacqueline Cannon, and Jennifer, you alluded a little bit to like the teaching and the preaching that she gives. I told you I watched the teaching on Wednesday nights. I mean, she dropped nuggets that you gonna need them.
Yes.
I mean, she's a seasoned woman of God, so she know what she's talking about. She's been saved and she's been walking with the Lord for a long time. So if you need wisdom, even if you don't have that direct access to her, just go on to Full Gospel Holy Temple Nash YouTube page and watch. You know, if you're not in your service, you know, when you get out of your service, just log on and watch and hear what that woman of God has to say, what God has given her. She's always on point. Pastor Cannon don't miss.
Mm-mm.
She don't miss. So I thank God for
I'm
her.
grateful.
Jennifer
Yes.
knows, Pastor Cannon knows. I call her my grandma. That's my
Yeah.
grandma. She has adopted me as her own.
Yes.
Nothing against the rest of the grandkids, but she has made me her own. And I feel like we all need that in our lives. We do.
Yes.
Especially us younger ones. We need those
Yes.
seasoned
Yes.
mothers of Zion who have been
Yes.
where we are, and they can tell us how to get up. They can tell us
Yes.
how to rise. They can give us the keys that we need in order to rise. So
Yes.
thank God for Pastor Cannon. I want to ask you this
Amen.
last question, Jennifer.
Okay.
Um, and this is one of my favorite questions too, because this is where you get to encourage us just a little bit more. But what would be your advice tonight to that person who is in the same place where you are right now today? They're in that place too. I'm gonna just call it the waiting season.
For rainy season.
Regardless of what it is that they're waiting on God to do.
Yeah.
You have the promise. You've already received the prophecy, the promise,
Mm.
but then you in that in between time
Yes.
between the prophecy and the prophecy being fulfilled.
Yes.
That could be that in between time could be a booger right there. You
Yeah.
know, but what would
Yes.
you say to that person that's in that in between time tonight? How would you encourage them in that time?
Okay, so I say that if you're in the middle of your storm, in the middle of your test, in the middle of your process, it's a few things you can do. First off is tell the Lord thank you.
Mm,
When you are praying and when you are praising and when you just tell God thank you. Thank him for the storm. Thank him for the test. My dad used to say, your trials are your friends. People was like, some friends I have, but that's true. You tell God thank you because he said that all things work together for the good. So if when you start telling God thank you, which means that I agree with what you have in mind,
come on.
that's when God started turning things around. It's times I on my knees and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna just tell God thank you.
Mm,
And then God show me something. God will turn something around. And so that's a really powerful weapon. Just tell God thank you.
mm,
Another thing is to actually verbalize, as I said earlier, verbalize, I'm going to make it.
mm,
Let it come out of your mouth. Don't let it just be in your head. When you are praying or when you walking around, before you walk out your door to work, say, you know what? I'm going to make it.
mm,
And it's something shifts in the room when your faith and when you're saying, you know what? I'm going to make it. You don't know what the outcome gonna look like. You don't know what's going on. You don't know this, that, everything around you look opposite of what. But you're saying when you're saying I'm gonna make it, you're saying I know God got this,
mm,
and God is gonna take care of this. And then also, third thing is allow God to complete the work. Don't try to come out on your own and the work ain't finished. Because the thing is that God, he always try to work on that soul, work on that spiritual man first before he give you any blessing. Because how you gonna keep the blessing if you ain't spiritually ready for it? So allow God to complete the work in you.
mm.
Let him work it all out. Let him get all in that character, get all in that mind so you can think differently. Let him get all in the way you walk, how you walk and work. It ain't slouched and down because you don't think God love you. You walking in there like, I'm gonna make it. That's
Yes.
what you do. And then learn from the process. I'm in this process right now, and I'm gonna learn everything that God wants me to learn while I'm right here. Okay. So let's learn from the process. Stay peaceful in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get, like you said, bitter and angry, and don't be in a state of depression. And I know depression can come sometimes when you are low, but talk to yourself. Sometimes just really opening your mouth breaks yokes. You
Mm,
just opening up your mouth, and I don't care if you by yourself, you saying, this ain't gonna take me out. Like you talking, you actually verbalizing it out of the words of your mouth. And then also, last thing is to keep your spiritual eyes open.
yes.
Close your natural eyes. Close your natural eyes, which means don't look at what you see around you because that's God works behind the scenes.
Mm,
So you got to open up your spiritual eyes and see what God is doing in the midst of it all. you know, and you got to see through your spiritual eyes when you're going through your tests and trials, not your natural eyes. Because, like Apostle Miles used to say, what you see will make you flee.
Come on.
You have to open up your spiritual eyes. Because if I was to look at what I see right now,
Mm.
it don't look good. But at the same time, my natural eyes are closed in this process, and my spiritual eyes are open. And with that, the joy of the Lord is just bubbling up in my soul. It's like they say, a well of water.
Well,
And
living.
I ain't even out here. You know what I'm saying? But it's a well of water because I know I serve a God who know how to handle stuff. You know, I don't serve no weak God. I don't serve no God that sit over here on the corner that I can't, they don't feel me. They don't know what I'm doing. They can't talk to me. I don't serve that kind of God. My God know what He's doing. And
Yeah.
I trust Him. I trust Him with my life. I don't think we should sometimes trust ourselves with our lives because sometimes we can mess things up. I trust God with my life. He knows what's best for me. He's been taking care of me all these years. He's never failed me. When I've been in other trials, He's brought me out. And this one is no different. So so that's what I admonish you to do. To remember that I may know Him, the
Mm.
power of His resurrection, and
That's
the
it.
fellowship of His suffering. You can't just have the resurrection.
That's
You got
right.
to have that suffering too. But you know God, you begin to know who God is when you go through things like that, you know? For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time,
Mm.
these sufferings right now, they ain't even worthy to be compared to the glory. You know, and it's all about God. He gonna be glorified. I'm not gonna even be seen, Tierra, when I
Mm.
come out of this. God gonna be glorified. And that's who I want glorified. I don't want to be seen. You know, I'm introvert anyway. I like to kind of be in the, you know, I don't have to be seen. I don't have to be, you know, anything like that. And so that's my preference, you know. I'm kind of in the background, but God is going to be glorified.
Mm.
And you know what it's going to do? It's going to draw others to His saving grace. And He's saying He want to use me. Have you considered my servant? Because He know I can make it. He know I'm not going to charge Him foolishly.
Mm-mm.
I'm not turning my back on Him because He's not doing what I want Him to do.
Mm-mm.
It's a relationship, you know, and I love it.
Mm.
And sacrificial, so I'm gonna hang on in there,
Mm.
you know. So
Oh, I love it, Jennifer. When I say I glanced over at the comments on YouTube and somebody said she preaching. You That's why I said I feel like God gave us, although it is your testimony, you know, God gave us a word tonight. That was a word, and I looked over at the comments. I saw somebody say this was much needed tonight. I'll take it personal and say I needed this word, this testimony, and this word
mhm,
tonight. So I'm glad
mhm,
somebody else agrees with me, and I feel like regardless of where you may be tonight, what part of the process you may be in, how long you've been in it, whether it just started. Somebody may have been in that thing for a long time. You know, you've been in there a while, and you wondering, okay, when is
come
use Jesus'
on,
testimony tonight.
that's it,
You know He gonna bring you out. You know He gonna come through. Just keep
that's
waiting.
it.
Keep
Mhm.
waiting right. Don't let the devil come in and tempt you to start waiting wrong now. You done
That's
waited
right,
right all this time.
that's
You know,
right.
keep waiting
Mm-hmm.
right. He that shall come will come.
Yes, ma'am. And He
And he
will not
will
tarry.
back. We gotta calm down, Jennifer. I mean, God is
Yes,
good God.
God is good. He's
He's the
worthy.
keeper of His word.
He is.
If He promised you something, He will bring it to pass.
Mm-hmm.
If He said He's gonna bring you whatever it is you're waiting on Him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, if you're waiting on Him if He promised He was gonna save your child, he gonna save
He's
him.
gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
If
Mm-hmm.
He said He was gonna heal your body, He's going to do it. I don't care what
Mm-hmm.
the prognosis is or what the sickness looks like. He gonna heal
Yes,
your body. You know
yes, yes.
what? It could be a wide scope of things that we are believing in God for. All of us have different needs. We all have different desires. You know, God is
Yes.
giving you all the word.
Yes.
Don't get discouraged while you're waiting on the fulfillment of the promise.
Mm-hmm. Don't charge him foolishly.
Yes. And one of my other favorite scriptures, Romans 23:19, God is not a man that he shall lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. But
If he said it,
he's going to do it.
he's
Behold,
going to
I
do it.
give a commandment to bless, and I had blessed, and I cannot reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to bring you out.
He
So
is.
I'm encouraged
is.
tonight. I really
He
am
is.
encouraged because I
Mhm.
mean, you know, I always say I have so many favorite scriptures. You
Yes.
know, the portion of scripture simply says, you know, what is man that thou art mindful of him?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much he loves us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's
Mhm.
going to bring us out. So Jennifer, I
Yep.
thank God. I can't set it up. I thank God for your testimony. I really do. This was very much needed. I can speak for myself and say I needed that testimony right
Yes.
now in my life. And I'm
Yes.
grateful. Like I said, God is mindful of his people.
Yes.
Whether your encouragement come through a podcast, whether it come through somebody personally sharing their testimony, whether you're at church and you hear the word, however way it comes, I'm grateful for however way God chooses to send the
Right.
confirmation, the encouragement,
Right.
the upliftment that we need. I
Right.
thank him for it. And I'm grateful tonight that he chose the Women Who Rise platform tonight.
Right.
The encouragement that somebody needed in this very hour on this
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. So I
Yeah.
thank God for you, Jennifer, being obedient and
Yes.
sharing that testimony that God, you could have chosen any testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh, I'm in it right now. I'm gonna wait till I come out to talk about it. You know, a lot of times
Yeah.
while we're in the thing, we don't share the testimony a lot of times until we come out on the other side. So
Right.
I know it had to be God, the fact that you're still in it. You know, you're
Right.
still waiting on God and you chose to testify about it. So
Right.
I'm grateful and I thank God for it tonight. So thank you again for gracing the platform again.
Yes.
Viewers, I don't have to ask you if you enjoyed
Thank you, Lord.
Jennifer Cannon's testimony tonight. I can tell by glancing at the comment section that y'all enjoyed this testimony. But I'm gonna ask you anyway, if you enjoyed Jennifer's testimony tonight, y'all already know, go ahead and give her a great big round of applause. Put your hands together real good in the comment section for Miss Jennifer Cannon tonight and that phenomenal testimony. I mean, if you're not encouraged tonight to keep waiting on the Lord, if you're not encouraged to keep trusting in him, trusting the process, when we're done, just hit replay and watch this testimony from start to finish all over again. Let it get in your spirit real good. But if you have enjoyed this testimony, clap your hands, give her a great big round of applause just to say thank you, Jennifer, for taking our time out of your busy schedule to come and sit with little old women who rise tonight. You blessed us the first time you were on. You blessed us the second time you were on. And you blessed us again tonight. And I thank God for it. Viewers, again, if you enjoyed the testimony, clap your hands real good for Jennifer's testimony. I'm grateful to each and every one of you who have joined the platform tonight. Looks like she had some technical difficulties, but I'm grateful for all of you who joined the platform tonight. Whether you joined by way of Facebook, whether you joined us tonight by way of YouTube, whether you're going to come back and watch it at a later time. Thank you all so much for joining. If you have not done so, go ahead and hit the share button. Share this phenomenal and encouraging testimony. Somebody is in their waiting season and they need to be encouraged to continue to wait, but not only continue to wait, but continue to wait the right way. Somebody needs to be encouraged and reminded that God is a keeper of his word. He is a promise keeping God, and he is going to bring them out. So go ahead and hit the share button. If you have not done so, you can share it from Facebook tonight. You can share it from YouTube. But I thank God for all of you who have chose to join. Thank God for all of you who share the Women Who Rise flyers, who share the testimonies, whether you share it on social media, whether you just share it personally with somebody. Thank you all so much. I thank God for each and every one of you. With that being said, I am going to let you all go for tonight, but y'all know we will be back next week. Same time, same place, 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have another beautiful woman of God lined up to share her testimony with us all. So you do not want to miss it. And as I forestated earlier, we do have another panel coming up and you don't want to miss it. The panel is going to be good. So y'all don't want to miss it. I'm excited about that. But for tonight, I am going to say good night to everyone. I love you all. And if you don't remember anything else, remember the testimony of Jennifer Cannon tonight. You have to wait right. Be encouraged. God has not forgotten about you. He will bring you out. I love you all. You all be encouraged. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you all on next time, and good night for tonight. Love you all.
We are women who rise, women who rise. With God we succeed, in spite of all challenges. Women who rise, we are women who rise. With our scars and all, we stand bold and tall. We continue to rise. Oh yes, we do. We are women who rise. Women who rise.